Lansing's finest.
Nah, that ain't me, man.
What? It ain't? Who is it then?
That ain't me, man. I be chilling.
Stop it. Legend out here in those Lansing streets. Now, come on now. Don't cheat yourself.
So were you guys the same high school?
For about a year.
Yeah, I'm a little older than Mo.
Yeah, well, you was a junior when I was a freshman, right? Or were you a senior?
I don't know. I don't. To be honest, I don't even remember, man.
Well, you graduated what?
07. I mean 03. I'm sorry. 03. I'm in
03.
college. Yeah, I graduated 03.
Yeah, so you was a junior when I was a freshman.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's been a while though, man.
It's been a minute. I gotta thank you for joining us and giving us your time.
For sure, man.
We really just want to kind of talk to you. College season is about to start. It's upon us, so we really want to kind of talk to you a little bit about that and get a feel for the landscape, and also just talk to you about your career, man. You had a hell of a career from college, from high school to college to playing overseas. So we want to talk to you about that. Talk to you a little bit about this NBA stuff. I know you still kind of follow that a little bit as well. So we really want to just talk some basketball with you. And then if you got some time, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that Usman and Covington or that Canelo and Plant fight, but talk to you a little bit about that too.
I got you, man. No. We can definitely talk about it all. I did not get a chance to watch the fight at all. I seen some highlights and everything, but I did not get a chance to catch that.
Are you a fight fan?
A little bit, not too much anymore. As I've gotten a little bit older and a little bit more busy. But when I was younger and had a little bit more time, yeah, I would watch it. A lot of them and stuff like that.
I feel you. Gotcha.
For sure. Well, let's start, Justin, with just talking about your career, really, right? You being all state, if I'm not mistaken, as a high school player. Mm-hmm. And just talk to us about like being at that level as a high school athlete, and what your recruiting process was like.
Oh, I think it was. I had a good recruiting process. It was different, than it is probably. It was different, but very similar to the way things are, now. Mm-hmm. It was a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Vocal interaction and whatnot, because social media was irrelevant, you know what I mean? Right. Going through the process at that time. So it was a lot of phone calls, a lot of home phone calls, with yourself, with your family, high school coaches, and stuff like that. But, going through it, I had a really good process. There was a lot of mid-major schools, that recruited mm-hmm. me. And ultimately Toledo, really stuck out the most. It was the best fit for me because, one, it was close to home. I had a really good relationship, with Coach Stan Joplin, who had a really good relationship with my dad as well, and my mom from the time when he was an assistant coach at Michigan State. So to have known him for a long time, it was a good fit, and also it was the best opportunity for me to be able to play, early in my career. Mm-hmm. And, that's something that was really important to me. I thought I was a pretty good basketball player. I was very, very confident, and I wanted to be able to play as a freshman. So to go to a place where I had the opportunity to do that and to do that early in my career was something that I really looked at when choosing a school.
Did you get a lot of playing time first year, second year?
I did. To be honest, I started every game of my career, so awesome. I started as a freshman. Played a little bit under.
What came out the gate averaging double figures?
I was okay, man. I had
you over here career, being a little too modest now.
But no, I did. I played a lot as a freshman. Played about 28, 29 minutes a game as a freshman. Played a little bit less as a sophomore, about 24. I think because we brought in a pretty good point guard as a freshman, so we kind of split some time. And then I played a lot. More as a junior senior. I had a good career, something that I'm proud of, and hopefully, down the line in about 12, 13 years, hopefully my youngins can have a way better career than I had.
Yeah. So Ethan, Justin's being super modest right now. He was the MAC freshman of the year. Like, don't let him fool you. Like,
Okay.
give this man his flowers while he here. The
Oh,
man he was a MAC freshman of the year, I think his freshman year. And then also Justin being very modest about his dad. His dad is a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, he is.
okay. Awesome.
So
Very
his
cool.
dad coached at LC. How long has your dad been coaching at LCC?
Oh man, over 30 years now, man. That's actually why I apologize for being late. That's
No, you
why
good.
I was late jumping on because I forgot because my dad's playing right now. So I was streaming the
Okay.
game and I was
Okay.
watching it. They're playing in a tournament up at Delta up in the Saginaw area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was watching that. But yeah, he's been there over 30 years. Yeah, like Mo said, he just went into the BCAM Hall of Fame it was 2020, but because of COVID, there was no ceremony. So the ceremony was just, last month. And then back in 2017, I believe, he went to the National Junior College Athletic Association, Hall of Fame, as well. So I've had somebody to really kind of put me in my place and help me, do the things that I wanted to do in life as an athlete, but also as a man, and
Yeah.
um, I've always known I wanted to be a coach, because of my dad. Like a
Yeah.
lot of times, you go to college to figure out what you want to do and everything. I knew I wanted to play basketball. When I was done playing basketball, I knew I wanted to be a coach because I got to watch my dad go to work every day and stuff like that, and that's the life that I wanted to live.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You started playing, I assume, really young.
Yeah, around 5 years old, 5, 6 years old. It kind of was inevitable, that I had to play. I had, like I said, my dad's a coach. At the time, my older sister played and was a great star. Probably one of the best female basketball players to
Your
come
sister
out of,
played at Michigan, right?
Lansing. Yeah. Was at Michigan, and was drafted in the WNBA. My older brother, played as well. Like my younger sister played, won state championship and played Division I and Division II basketball. So there wasn't
In the
really too much
bloodline.
that we weren't
The
going to
basketball
do.
family right there.
Ingrams play basketball.
Right. So, Justin, kind of as you made your progression going through your college career, um, did you? I'm not sure if they had that process where you could kind of dip your toe, kind of see like, okay, am I ready to kind of take that next step and go to the league? Like, did you get a chance to experience that at all, or no?
No, they did have that, not as prevalent as it is now, but you
Mm-hmm.
still had the opportunity. You could put your name in the draft and you can
Okay.
go out, you didn't sign with the agent, you had the opportunity to come back if you want. So it was out there. I did not do that. Excuse me. Looking back on it, yeah, I probably, wish I would have, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just to get some feedback and see some things that, I needed to
Yeah.
work on and stuff from, from that standpoint. Not sure I was ready or at that level,
Mm-hmm.
to do that, but to be able to go through the process and get the feedback, that I need to work on the things I need to work on. It probably would have helped me, in my season, for the following year and stuff.
Yeah.
What was the first pro league you ended up playing in?
I went to the second division, Pro B in France. I played for a team called Saint Etienne. I got there in middle of October, and had a good time. I probably spent the majority of my time was spent in that league. I played 5 years in that league. I was over in Europe for 9 years. So my first 4 years were in that league in France. Played for numerous teams over there. Then I went to the top league in Hungary and Estonia. Came back to France for a year, and then I finished. What was that? My last 3 years, I think I went to the top league in Greece, and then I went to Switzerland after that, I believe. I think there's another stop in between there. I can't remember, but yeah. I was at a few different places around the world.
That's one of my favorite things about, overseas athletes or just playing sports at a high level period. You get to just that's so priceless, being able to live in all these different places, all the experiences I'm sure you gain from living all over the world, man. That's
Definitely. Yeah, man. I got to travel the world and make a little bit of money playing a silly game. You can't really beat that.
So, what was the biggest difference that you noticed from playing like collegiate basketball over here in the States to then going over and playing pro basketball overseas?
It's a little more physical, you know, because you have to think about it, man. You're playing against grown men. You know, when
Right.
you're playing in college, you're playing against 18 to 22-year-olds. You know, and don't get me wrong, you know these kids and young men are very very physical and very strong and whatnot. But you get over, you know, to Europe or to the NBA or wherever it is that you're playing, and you're playing against, you could be playing against another 24-year-old, but you could be playing against a 31, 32-year-old as well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's a little more physical. It's your job. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you don't take it serious, but like this is your job. This is what you get paid to do, you know.
Hmm.
So you take care of your body different. You take care, you know, your sleep regimen, you know, is different. The way that you interact with your coaches and your teammates are different because it's a team sport, but it's very individualized as well because
Yeah.
in college you spend the majority of your time together with your teammates and everything as a professional. And like I said, it's your job. You got a family, you got, you know, friends outside the sport and stuff like that. So you don't necessarily do everything with your teammates, you know. So you have to, especially being overseas, and being a foreigner, you know, you have to be okay being in your bubble, being okay. You have to be okay being by yourself, you know, and being away from everything that you're, you know, used to and accustomed to. And if you're not, you're probably going to struggle over there because it is a little bit of a culture barrier.
That is a good point brought up. Is it weird, like the language barrier between you and a coach when you're overseas, or do they make sure to have like a bilingual coach that speaks English as well as whatever country you're in?
Some do. Some are bilingual. Some are not. You know. Some are like, hey, you need to figure it out. You know. But a lot of the teams, they have you know, they're players that speak English. You know, so they'll help you out. They'll translate and stuff
Okay.
like that. And to be honest, basketball it's a language barrier in itself. You know,
Yeah.
so a lot of times that's how you learn the language because they're telling you stuff to do and you understand what they're saying because you're on the basketball court, and now you hear what somebody's saying when you're off the court and you're like, oh, okay, I know what that means, you know. But
Yeah.
for me it wasn't as difficult because I went to France, you know, early on. I took France in high school. I mean French in high school. I took 4 years in high school and I took 3 semesters in college, so I wasn't fluent when I got there, but I knew enough to get by.
Yeah.
And by probably my second year over there I was fluent. Now I didn't tell anybody I was fluent, you know, because you know now once they found out, you know, they want you to do, you know, speaking engagements and go to all these
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
things and stuff like that. So I didn't tell anybody that I was fluent. But by the time my second year over there, like I knew everything that was going on. I could understand conversations. I knew slang. You know, like I knew I could go to the bank and, you know, or to the grocery store and have a conversation with somebody. So I was blessed, you know, and put in a really really good situation, um, you know, from that standpoint.
So you talked about like not being comfortable being in your own bubble, and I know, being younger and going overseas like that. Did you ever have like these situations like, man, did I make the right decision?
Oh, no doubt. Well, no doubt, man. Hey, the first week I was over there, I went over there for a week. Like I said, I got there. Season starts in probably August, you know, early, you
Hmm.
know, like the first week of August. You go there, you go through training camp, you know, conditioning and everything. Then the season, you know, start playing games at the end of September. So I didn't go early on. I didn't get there until probably 3, 4 games into the season. I got there in October. My
Hmm.
first week over there, man, I called my dad back and I was crying. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I don't want to be here. I was like, I've been gone my entire life playing basketball across country, you know, playing in AAU
Hmm.
tournaments and stuff like that. But I could always jump in the car and get back home. I'm across
Yeah.
an ocean, you know, like I'm not comfortable. I don't know nobody over here. Like I do not want to be here, you know. And like I literally was crying, you know. My dad was like, you know, it's gonna be all right. You'll be fine. You love basketball. Do your job. Things will get better. You'll meet people and stuff like that, you know. And he kind of calmed me down and everything, and it did get better, you know. I started to play better. You know, I started to meet people, and for me, as long as I got a basketball, you know, like I'm good. Like that, I was fine. As long as I was able to get in the gym and work out and shoot, you know, and play and stuff like that, I was good. But no, when I first got there, I did not want to be there, and I did not think that I was going to be there, you know, for a long time. But I
Yeah.
loved it, man. I had a great time. I wouldn't trade it for the world. If I could, I'd go back right now. Not so much to play basketball, you know, because I'm that part of my life is over, you know, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. But I love the culture over there. I love the lifestyle. They're very family oriented. They're, us in the States, man, like we're go, 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 go. They're like, slow down, man, and that was cool for me to be able to see a different culture and see the way that they lived and everything. And I really enjoyed that.
Did you meet people overseas that are like lifetime friends to you now that you still keep in contact with?
Yep. I got a lot of guys that I talked to, especially early on in my career, because we were all young, and we actually hung out, a lot together. But I got a lot of friends that some are still playing, over there right now. I got friends that are Americans that I keep in touch with, and friends that are, European that I keep in touch with. Now, we don't talk every day and whatnot, but social media, man, I follow their life. They've got families. They follow mine and everything. We'll reach out. I reached out to a friend of mine I played with, in France a couple of days ago. He, one of the teams we played on, put a video up of him, a tribute to him. I reached out, say, hey, man, how's everything going? Your family looks great, So you build those relationships, genuine relationships, with people, and hopefully you're able to sustain them.
So, at what point you playing over there, and you like, I got this. Like, I can get busy now. Like, at what point did it click? Like, I'm about to let loose on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I told you, man, I'm always a super, super confident person. I've always been that way. I mean? So I've always thought that I was pretty good, and whenever I stepped on the court, I always thought that I was the best player out there, and you have to be that way if you want to be a really, really good player, and like I said, early on in that first year, like I struggled, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't playing well, but I didn't change who I was. I didn't change what I did. I still worked harder, than everybody. I was first in the gym, last to leave, always getting extra shots up. And I have to give credit to, my first coach over there. His name was Alain Tino. And the president wanted to get rid of me, and he stood up for me and was like, no, like this guy really works hard. He's going to be okay and stuff like that. And by him having my back, that gave me more confidence in myself. And when I came back from Christmas, and I had a really good game. Our first game, we were on the road, and I had 25 points. I had like 4 or 5 threes, something like that. You know what I mean? And that game kind of propelled me to have a really, really good end of the year. And then we went to the playoffs, and we beat a team we weren't supposed to beat in the first round. You know what I mean? And I played really well. I played really well in the second round. And that's kind of where I was like, you know what? I belong. And I came back the next year, and I had a really good year, after that. And then, the rest is history.
Nice.
Yeah, so, what you got, Mo?
No, so I was going to say, so like, as you were there differences as far as like these stops? Were there differences in the style of play from like being over in France to being over in Hungary or anything? Was there differences in the style of play between those countries at all?
Yeah, there were, but a lot of it revolved around me, to be honest. As I got older, you know what I mean? As I got older and I had a little bit more of a reputation, the teams that brought me in knew the type of player I was, so they kind of put the team based around me. I was a scoring point guard, and I'm not gonna lie, I shot a lot. So they understood that, but they put pieces around me, to make us better. And the coach knew the type of player that I was, so he kind of focused his offense around the type of player I was. Now, don't get me wrong, I played on a few teams where it wasn't like that, and the coach and myself, we had to, work some things out between us. But for the most part, we always were on the same page and everything. And but no, there were different philosophies. Every coach is different that you play for and stuff like as I said, man, it's your job, and so it's your job to adjust to it. And if you can't adjust to it, they're gonna bring somebody else in that can.
What year did you stop playing?
2016. Yeah, okay. 2016.
You were kind of like right in the middle of the revolution. What do you think as far as American basketball? What's your take on how much the game has evolved just from even 2010 to now, as far as, going away from the paint and the post, and now it's predominantly threes, like a way faster pace, higher volume shooting? Was that like interesting for you? Because you were kind of right in that era of like when that was kind of taking place.
I think the evolution of the game right now is great. You know, it's as good as it's ever been. Um, players are more skilled than they've ever been. You know, you got KD, who's a freaking 7'2" guard. You know what I mean? You know, you got Luka Doncic, you know, who's a really, really good, you know, point guard, you know, who's how tall is Luka? 6'8", you know what I mean? Like the game is probably as best as it's ever been, you know, and it's because players are more skilled, and we're not just telling them, you're 7 foot, man, go stand on the block, or you're 5'11", 6 foot, you get to bring the ball up, you know, like it's a fun way to play when everybody on the court, you know, can space the floor out and can knock a three down. Or you can have your point guard that's posting up and your big man that gets the rebound and is pushing it in transition like Giannis. You know what I mean? I think the way that the game has evolved, now sometimes I think there may be a little bit too many threes, you know, at times, but the way that, you know, that the game is the way it is now, man, it's a much more fun game to watch. You know, it's definitely much more fun for everybody to play.
Do you think it's, for me, I feel, and you two played at way higher levels, so you guys would be more qualified to really give an opinion, but I feel like defensively right now, it's like you have to be some of the most skilled defenders that you've ever been, just because every offensive player now has that, you know, right to move. So it's like you can't hide behind being more physical and hand checks and stuff like that. You know, they really have to play just off of what the offensive player's giving them and still try to prevent it from scoring.
No doubt. I mean, it's hard. Like I said, man, these guys are the most skilled players probably in the history of the game, you know? And one thing my dad has always told me, man, like, you can be the greatest defender in the world. Great offense beats great defense any day of the week.
Every
you know
time.
What I mean? So it's the way the rules have been changed, you know, they do protect the offense a little bit more, you know, because there's not as much, you know, motion or freedom of motion. You know, you can't just, you know, you can't bump cutters and stuff like that the way you used to be able to and whatnot, you know. But at the same time, man, you can defend as best as you can. But if you know, you got a Kevin Durant or a Kyrie Irving out there, man, that can just do almost anything they want, you know, in space, it's going to be hard to stop that guy.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that I've noticed is that as these players are more skilled, you also have your big man that don't have that same level of post work that I think they had beforehand. Like you think about like the skilled big man that actually have like post moves, and I can maybe name about, I feel like comfortable with maybe like 5 to 6 that have really good footwork.
Yeah.
Where I think beforehand you have many more big men that had a better post work and better footwork down there. So that's the thing I think that's a bit lacking. And Justin, you told me this, I even feel like it's even lacking like people's ability to even pass into the post. I don't think it's the same as it has been. Like I think that even that skill itself, I think is kind of diminished a little bit.
Well, you know what's funny about that is like we actually, our staff was actually talking about that about 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? About post entry passing. You know, getting the ball into somebody. It's a skill. You know, it's a skill that some people have, some people don't. You know what I mean? Now it's about knowing, you know, who you're throwing the ball to as well. But I mean, like we said, the game has changed so much. There's not a lot of people that do post up, you know, and most people that do post up, you know, a foot or two off the block, you know, because you're trying to create, you know, opportunities in space, you know, and the game's just different, man. You know, it's hard to explain, you know, why people do certain things, but it's just the game has changed and it's different. You know, a lot of times you got guards that post up more than you know, bigger players and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's interesting, man. What's going on right now? Speaking of KD, is Brooklyn doing well right now?
I'm
I think
not sure.
They're 6-3. They're 6-3 right now. I think they got a game tonight.
Oh yeah. Lakers are like 500, aren't they?
Can we talk about that? And these 2 blown leads that they had against the Thunder.
I just saw that Rush shot like 13 last night, bro. I was like, come on,
like,
man.
Justin, you talked. You played at the pro level. Like, how does a team that is on paper and just in skill blow leads like that to a team that they they should just beat them 9 times out of 10, and then they have 2 completely like blown leads late in the game. Like, how does something like that happen?
Hey, you still got to play the game, like just because, technically you may have better players or you're a better, on paper you look better. You still got to go out there and play the game.
Yeah,
we all put our pants on and our socks on the same way as everybody else. These guys make millions of dollars. Hey, you don't win the game just because your name is such and such and such and such. You got to go out there. You got to play the game. You got to put the ball in the hole. Hey, and sometimes you win, sometimes
Russ
you lose.
can't do that, man. Russ looks bad right now, man.
Shea was giving them work those last 2 games. So, like, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is nice.
He's a good player.
Like, dude can go.
Justin, I wanted to ask you, actually, getting back to coaching, because I've heard a lot of people bring this up as far as athletes in general. When you went to coaching, I know you said you felt like you always wanted to do it. Is there a big difference in mindset? Because I hear some people say they can't coach or they struggle with it, like Kobe, for example, because like his drive was so great and his competitive edge, he always was going to be the hardest worker, that it killed him to see players under him that weren't working that hard. Do you relate to that at all?
To an extent, but you know what? My first year, I was coaching at Olivet College, which is a Division III school right outside, Lansing. Really good school. And my dad gave me a little bit of advice because I was getting a little frustrated with our guys as well, and he just told me, he was like, "Everybody's not you. You can't think that everybody's going to work the same way that you worked, or you are going to do the same thing that you did. You have to figure out how to get the best out of them, and how to communicate with them to get the best out of them. You can't get frustrated because they're not doing things the way that you would have did them or the way that I would have did them." And that kind of helped me, with that, because I would get frustrated because I knew what I would do in certain situations, or I knew what time I would arrive to a certain place and stuff like that. And when he broke it down to me like that, I was like, okay, I understand. This person isn't Justin Ingram. All right. This person is so-and-so. Maybe they don't know this is what they're supposed to do. Maybe I need to do a better job of teaching them or telling them what I expect out of them.
Yeah, man. Wow. It's a lot more than X's and O's. That's for sure, bro. That's exciting.
It really is. Like, a coach is, especially once you get to a certain level, like a coach almost becomes like a father figure to you, right? Like, you remember how you were mentioning about like, they put their pants on like the same way that they do, right? Like, I remember, you remember Coach Brown, Justin?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so we went out to Grand Rapids, bro, and we were playing against Drew Neitzel.
Mm-hmm.
And we go in there, we like, bro, we are about to get ran out this gym. Like, they're about to kill us. And Coach Brown was like, "Hey, they're the same age as you. Like, they no different." And like, even him just saying something so simple as that, I'm like, damn, he right. Like, Drew Neitzel ain't better. Now, he went off and dropped 40 on my head, right? But I still had a decent game. I think I had about maybe like 18 to 20 points or whatever, and the game was close. So we were still hanging with them, and we didn't have like an All-American like Drew Neitzel, right?
Right.
Was Drew Neitzel a state guy?
Yeah, he played at State.
I remember him.
And the thing that killed me though is like the whole first half, he shot the whole first half like right-handed, bro, and he a left-handed shooter. I was like, come on, dog, you ain't had to do
it. Drew could play, man. Drew was really, 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 really.
He was
good.
nice.
He was really good.
Did he go overseas?
I don't know.
He did. He did. He went over for a little bit, and then he came back and had opportunity, I think, with the Mavericks. But Drew was good, man. He was really good, man. Really good. Yeah.
Duke could go. So because just at the height of your career, I mean, you were an all-star, you was averaging like 25 a game. At what point did you think like, okay, it's time for me to kind of hang my shoes up and start transitioning into coaching?
I had a son. My oldest son, JJ, was 2 years old back in 2015, 2016. And he was starting to get some personality, starting to, and they weren't with me. They were back here, and they were in Michigan at the time, and I was over in Europe. They would come visit me every probably 2 months. They'd come over about 2-3 weeks and stuff like that. But he was growing up, man, and I was being torn. I was being pulled between my family and pulled between my job and everything. And it was like, all right, I love my family and everything, but I love my job. But I'm putting a little bit more thought and a little bit more effort into my family, than I am, to my job and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? It's probably time to come home. You know what I mean? Like my wife needs me, my son needs me and stuff like that. And to be honest, that last year, me and my head coach did not really get along a lot. We had some arguments about some simple things, and we just couldn't mesh. And so I'm like, all right, man, I could be at home arguing with my wife. At least I like her. You know what I mean? Like, So I kind of knew about halfway through the year that I may want to be done. You know what I mean? But I wasn't sure. But when the year was over, we lost in the semifinals that year, and when it was over, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I think I'm done. So
Was that
I didn't look back at all.
Playing ball after so long?
What's that?
Was that scary as well, stopping for so long and that being
honestly, it wasn't, man. Because I have a lot of friends where it wasn't like they told me I wasn't good enough, or I didn't have any more job opportunities, or I could have went back and played, but I left when I was ready. You know what I mean? So like, I was cool. I came back. I was going to get a job. You know what I mean? I was blessed enough to get into coaching right away. Like I said, out at Olivet, it's hard to get into coaching, especially at the NCAA level, so to be able to get in right away, that was a blessing in itself. So no, I was at peace with the decision that I made, and I've never looked back, and I've never regretted, making that decision one day at a time, man. I got to, for the first time in my life, I got to go to sleep and wake up with my wife every day. You know what I mean? And like, that was what I wanted in my life at that time.
That's awesome, man. How many kids do you have?
I got 2 crazy little boys, man, 7 and 3 years old. Yeah,
they can be ball players too.
I hope so, man. But honestly, man, I just want them to be happy. Do whatever it is. My oldest, he's actually he likes football, man. He loves football. So if whatever he wants to do, man, as long as he does it with his whole heart, man, and enjoys it, man, and has a good time doing it, man, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So, college basketball season about to start. How's the squad looking? Talk to me.
Man, we're talented. We really are. We're young, but we got some guys that can do some things, man. We can really score the ball. We're always one of the top offensive teams in the country, and definitely in our in our league. Our head coach Ty Kowalczyk, man, he's an offensive guru, man. Like, I'm in awe by the things that he does and the way that I watch him, learn the game and draw up plays and stuff like that. Like, he's really, really good, and I'm excited to get our team going. We're long, we're athletic. Last year we were top 2 or 3 in our league in defense, and we're more athletic than we were last year. So we should be a really, really good defensive team, as long as we really eye in, key in on that. But I'm excited about our team, man. We start up on Tuesday, at Valparaiso, who's a really, really good a mid-major team like us. So it's gonna be a good test for us to start our first game on the road.
I know y'all had a guy that could like really go maybe like a year or 2 ago. I think he was averaging probably like close to 20, if not more.
Marion Jackson.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Marion Jackson. He was a starting point guard for us for 4 years. He graduated last year, and he actually transferred to Arizona State.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember watching the game, and I was like, dude can like roll, like could really go. I had my barber, his little brother played up at Kent State.
Okay.
Jalen Walker.
Yep. Jalen can score. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I watched a couple of his games and when y'all played him and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, we've got an opportunity. Like we won the league last year. We won the MAC by 2 games. Had a really good year. We're 15-4 in conference, 21-8 and 9 overall. You know, with COVID and everything going on, our guys did a great job of being. I'm not saying other teams weren't, but our guys did a really good job of being smart. You know, and staying safe. We didn't have any stoppages during the year. We had one early on before the season started. After that, we did not have any stoppages throughout the year. You know,
That's
so
nice.
we're blessed from that standpoint. But I think we got a chance to be, just as good, if not better, this year. You know, we've got a sophomore guard, Ryan Rollins, who was MAC Freshman of the Year last year, who's got a chance to be really good. Can really, really score the ball, shoots it well from outside, can really get to the rack. We've got our two interior players are back, Seth Milner and J2 Shoemate, are really good. They both shoot the ball exceptionally well from the outside. Seth's he's a 6'6" undersized 4-man, but he's a load on the block, man. You know, he's really, really athletic. And like I said, he shoots the ball really, really well. We got a transfer point guard from Boise State named Ray J. Dennis, who's playing really, really well for us right now, can really score the ball, really, really defend it, and gets his teammates involved. And, we had a kid sit out last year named Raheem Moss, who's a football player, had a lot of offers coming out of high school to play high-level football, but he loved basketball, and he sat out for us last year. So he's a redshirt freshman, and he's got a chance to be really, really good, man. He's athletic, he defends, he's an improved shooter, and he's a guy that's like a tick, man. He just gets on your nerves, man. He's just always nagging at you, you know what I mean? He's like that, you know what I mean? And that's what makes him good, Then we got some freshmen, that have a chance to to play some significant minutes, and make a splash. So man, we got a good team.
That's awesome.
So as far as the conference this year, so remind me, I think who made it out of you guys' conference last year? Was it
Ohio?
It was Ohio. Yeah, because they had the what was the guy's name? He got drafted too.
Jason Preston. Yep,
yeah.
Jason Preston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he didn't even he got into.
You guys in the MAC conference?
Yeah, we play in the MAC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so because he got into basketball kind of late, and he didn't even have any offers, if I'm not mistaken, like nothing too major.
He had a different story, but the kid was pretty good. He was a very good passer. He's a bigger point guard, could shoot it, pretty well. They got hot at the right time. And they made some shots, to beat us in the tournament, and then they got in. They played really well, and they upset Virginia, and had a nice run. Had a nice run right there. They had a good team. They've got a lot of guys coming back. The conference it's tough every year, man. Top to bottom.
You guys have U of D, right?
No, we do not. It's us, Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, Buffalo, Akron, Kent State, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Ball State. I think that's everybody.
Yeah,
Bowling Green. I'm sorry, Bowling Green.
Yeah, Bowling Green. You're thinking about Detroit's in the Horizon League.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So as far as just the landscape of college basketball, where would you say, or where do you think it's at the moment?
Well, what do you mean?
As far as just coming off of a COVID year, and now there's name, image, and likeness in place now with the athletes. So, like, where do you think the landscape of it is? Just coming off of COVID, and now with this new precedent in place, like, how has that changed the game, even from a recruiting standpoint, and just the landscape of of college basketball overall?
I think it's I think it's good, for college basketball, because players have been playing for a long time, and they've been earning a lot of money for universities for a long time. So for them to be able to make some money, off of their name, man, that's a tremendous opportunity, for them, to do some things. we've had, some guys have had some opportunities to do, certain things, and that's as like I said, that's great for them and for their families and stuff like that. You worked hard, to put yourself in a position, like this. So it's great that you're able to, profit from that legally. As far as coming off a COVID year, man, we're I'm just glad, man, we're getting back to some sort of normalcy.
Yeah.
Last year was different, to say the least. Playing in empty stadiums and
I was just about to
everything.
ask that. Like, how do you rev up just because there's especially at a home game, you get a lot of energy from playing in
Right, right,
front of
right.
your home crowd, right? You got your family there and everything. So like, how was that just trying to adjust and trying to get that energy into your guys, even though it's an empty stadium or empty gym?
To be honest, I mean, after probably about halfway through the first game, myself personally, I didn't even notice it anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you're so locked into the game and everything, you don't really pay attention. Now, the guys can hear me a lot better, can hear our coach a lot better because there's not as many fans in there and stuff like that, So that's going to be something that we have to adjust to, from that standpoint. But man, we had a great bench energy last year. Like our
Nice.
bench was loud. They were
Yeah.
cheering, they were standing up, they're beating on the on the scores table and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's how we got our energy, going and stuff from our bench. Like Coach wants our guys up. He wants you cheering. He wants you,
Yeah.
yelling for your teammates and stuff like that. So we were able to get, up for games like that. Now, it's, like I said, it's going to be different, this year because it's going to be loud in there. You know what I mean? It is. Like for a lot of guys, it's going to be the first time that they've, played in front of fans, because there weren't any, last year and stuff like that. But I'm glad that we're able to get people back in the stands, get people back in
Yeah.
the in the crowd and stuff like that, especially for our guys, because here in Toledo, man, we've got some of the best fans in the country, and they love coming out. They would have loved coming out and seeing our team last year, but they're gonna
Mhm.
really enjoy watching our team this year because we're gonna be a lot. We're gonna it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch our guys play.
Nice. Well, I think we got to talk about some of this NBA stuff this season. What they about like 10 games in now. And there's been just a lot that's been happening, right? From the situation with Kyrie and the whole vaccine situation. You got the whole Ben Simmons thing with him and Philly. So, like, just what have been your initial thoughts about the season thus far?
Honestly, I this year I have not watched a ton of NBA basketball. If I'm being totally honest, like
Yeah.
I've been very busy, with our season, with my family and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I've probably watched. I watched the game the first night. I watched the first half of the Brooklyn game, and then I watched the second half of the Lakers game. That's probably all the NBA that I've seen. Now, I follow the news and everything, of what's going on and stuff like that, man. But I mean, I don't have a ton to say about it, man. Like Ben Simmons situation, hey, man, uh, that's for them. I don't know. Hey, man, they got to figure out what they're doing. I mean, that's
Yeah, that
that's
was
that's
weird.
between them, man. And and same thing with Kyrie, man. He's making a decision that he wants to do. I'm vaccinated, my family's vaccinated and stuff like that, man. But if that's not something, that you want to do, man, that's something you can't force somebody to do something.
Yeah.
And there's you can't.
And I do wonder what he's going to do now because I think he was kind of hoping that the new mayor elect would kind of change that. But I think the new mayor did kind of come out and say that he wasn't going to change that mandate for New York City because that's the reason why we're hearing all this about Kyrie in the first place because it's just a New York City thing that's mandating that anyone going into an indoor public space or whatever that you have to be vaccinated. So I think that's the only reason why because you got other players that aren't vaccinated that you don't like. Bradley Beal isn't vaccinated. But you don't really hear anything about the situation with Bradley Beal because he's not having to manage it. So I think it's just it'll be interesting to see what happens once now that information has been shared that new governor or that new mayor is not going to put that
They're playing well, though, weren't they?
I mean, they're playing well. I think they're 73. They just won tonight. One thing that I've been noticing though with the game is that like they put those new rules in place, right? As far as like how the player movement, especially the offensive player movement. And I have noticed that like certain players are not, their scoring is not the same now. Like you look at James Harden. James Harden's probably averaging like 16 points a game.
You think that's
a lot of his?
Because I know he averaged like 10 to 15 free throws a game. Like, he was crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you even look at Damian Lillard. I think they said that this is the lowest that he's averaged even since like his rookie year. So I think so just as a player, as you're adjusting to new rules that come into place, like how long do you think as a player playing at that pro level does it take you for you to kind of start to adjust to like new rules that are implemented?
I think it's different for everybody. I'm not too worried about those guys because they're professional scorers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do this for a living. They've always done that. I think they'll figure it out at some point. You know what I mean? But it takes time to adjust to different rules and the way that things are being called, and so especially something that you've been doing for most of them for the past 10 years. You know what I mean? So there's an adjustment period, but like I said, those guys are probably some of the top scorers that the game has ever seen. You know what I mean? That the way that they're able to put the ball in the hole in different ways, they're able to do it and stuff like that. I think they'll figure out a way to get back to what they've been able to do. I listened to what Dame Lillard said the other day. I think it was after after one of his games or something like that. He was talking to the media, just talking about, you guys are talking all this stuff. I'm not quoting. I'm paraphrasing. You know what I mean? I'm not quoting him or whatever, but he was basically saying like guys were talking stuff, about the way he's shooting and he can't do this and that, like he hasn't been doing this, for a long time and stuff. But when things start to, click and, get back the way that I've always been, I want you to basically have that same energy and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you got to trust your work, you know what I mean? And guys put in the work and stuff like that. So when they get out of the whatever slump or whatever it is that they're in and stuff like that, keep that same energy and stuff. These guys know what they're doing, man. They're paid millions of dollars to put the ball in the hole.
Exactly.
They'll figure it out.
The media is always quick to jump on that, though. If some player's playing bad, it's the end of the world. They want to talk about it all the time. Same if they're really hot,
No, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They do a good job at it, Same way these guys do a good job of playing basketball. We all have a job to do in this world. You know what I mean? Some people like it, some people don't. But you got to do your job if you want to feed your family.
Yeah, I mean, the news, it's all about click, right? You got to have that clickbait. So you got to have something to kind of talk about. But I will say, I think the reason why a bit of maybe what Damian maybe kind of off to a slower start is this is the first year that he actually played in the Olympics, right? And that's kind of draining in itself, right? Because when you just had that expectation that you have to win gold, right? And then, so player playing longer, not having a shorter off season, I think maybe just he's still kind of getting a bit of his leg back. As far as just adjusting to regular game speed and everything, because he may have kind of waited a little bit longer to kind of get back into game shape.
Right.
It's just an assumption. I don't know if that's true, but that's what kind of looks like. Even with James Harden, I think, he had a slow start. I think they showed a stat that he was the slowest player in the league. But it was also because he even mentioned it, that the fact that people forget that he had a hamstring injury coming out of the playoffs, and so he didn't have an off season where he was working out. He was in recovery the whole entire time.
Right.
Wow.
So now, did you ever have to deal with any serious injuries that kind of kept you out for a while and then what was that process kind of coming back if you ever ran into any of that?
Nope. I was blessed, man. I
really
never, my entire career never had any serious injuries that kept me out of games or out of season or anything from that. So no, I was very, very blessed.
That's awesome, man. It's crazy too because it's just like you said, blessed. They can just be freak accidents. Sometimes it's not even how you prepare or how in shape you are. It'll just be a bad move, and it's just something tears.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, I just tore my Achilles injury playing outside.
Oh,
bro.
Man. Yeah.
Dog.
I was gonna say it as a joke, but I didn't know if it'd be too.
Listen,
out here pro career without injured.
Just out here playing with these kids outside, I'm in my 20s or something, messing around in 4 months, blew out my dang Achilles. I'm like, it's about time to hang these shoes up now. So, Justin, as far as like, for you and what your future is, I'm assuming that you eventually want to get to like that head coaching spot at some point. Where do you, and this is kind of, I guess for me, kind of having you kind of putting this stuff out into the atmosphere. I always kind of believe in like putting energy into things that you want. So what is that as far as like your goal? Do you have like a timeline as far as like when you would want to become a head coach?
Nah, man, I'm living in the moment, man.
Okay.
At some point, yeah, that's the ultimate dream is, yes, to be a head coach, run my own program and everything, man. But I love where I'm at. You know what I mean? I love, working for my head coach, Ty Kowalczyk. I love our staff. My family loves the area and, loves being down here and everything. I'm just trying to be the best assistant coach that I can and help us win as many games as we help help these young men, become better basketball players, but more importantly, better men. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that ball is going to stop bouncing, and they're going to have to go out in the world and be husbands and fathers and good citizens and stuff like that. And that's more important than scoring 30 points a game. Just want to, right now, man, just figuring it out. What can I do to be, be better at my job? And if it happens at some point, it'll happen. But you know what? You can't go out there looking for the next job, because if you're out there looking for the next job, that means you're not doing you're not doing your job at your job. You know what I mean? Sure. So I'm living in the moment, enjoying myself, and nah, man, I'm not in the back of my mind, thoughts there, but I'm just working on, trying to be the best, assistant coach at the University of Toledo I can be.
That's a good way to live, man. Really good way to live. You seem like you're just at peace with like the timing of your life, and you're not trying to. That's awesome. And like I'm sure you'll get there. It's bound to happen. That'll come to you. So what is it? I did want to ask you real quick though. Is it like football? So you're an assistant coach. Are you more of like a positions coach, or like is there something you specialize in? Or
well, I'm in basketball. So we work with everything. Me and a few of our assistant coaches, we work with the defense. We're, I guess you'd call us the defensive coordinators and stuff like that. Gotcha. But I work a lot with our point guards. I was a former point guard myself. So I work a lot, with them. Film sessions, on the court stuff, academic stuff. You know what I mean? Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in the classroom, socially. You're in a college campus. A lot of things going on. You guys have been on college campuses. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you know what's going on in their life and talk to them about, everything. Let them know that this isn't just a basketball relationship. You know what I mean? This is a relationship that hopefully it's a 4-year scholarship, but it turns into a lifelong relationship. You know what I mean? Hopefully at some point, I'm standing at your wedding, or I'm sitting at your wedding watching you get married to your beautiful bride. You know what I mean? Because those are the type of relationship that we want to have, with these guys. If it's just about basketball, at some point in time, you're going to tune me out because you know what? Basically, what that's saying is I don't care about you as a person. I'm using you as an athlete to help me win games. No. Don't get me wrong. I want you to help me win games and stuff like that, and help our team, win games. But the biggest thing we want to make sure you get a degree. You know what I mean? And you're able to go out into the world, and be a model citizen.
That's awesome. So, I had 2 questions for you, Justin, and I think we can wrap it because I don't want to take too much of your time. So, first question is now that this name, image, and likeness is in place, like, are you having conversations with these guys around like the financial literacy and like financial planning now? Because they have opportunities to kind of make some, make money off of their names, and I feel like it can be an important piece, or maybe even like a selling tool to kind of help educate them on this opportunity that they made. Because I'm thinking like, me kind of growing up, and like I didn't get exposure to that when I was younger, right? About just knowing how to budget and, and how to make sure, setting yourself up. Now, are you guys like able to kind of have those type of conversations with these guys?
Well, even before all this name, image, and likeness stuff came about, those are conversations that we had with our guys. Okay. You know what I mean? Like we'd have a team meeting and we talk about it. You know what I mean? But then individually, we talk about it as well. Okay. And just like you, I wish somebody, you know, would have sat down and talked to me, you know, about that when I was younger. Now I had my parents that told me about saving money and stuff like that, you know, but that was, you know, really, really the gist of it. Just make sure you take care of your money, save your money, have great credit and stuff like that. But nobody ever talked to me about putting a little bit of money away and investing and stuff like that, you know, from that standpoint. So those are conversations that we do have, you know, with our guys. That's another, like I was just talking about before. It's not just basketball, man. It's like you want to know what you're supposed to do. You got a little bit of change, you know what I mean? Don't go to the mall and buy 7 pair of shoes, man. You know what I mean? Like put a little bit of it up, and don't always just have it sitting in the bank, because it's making a little bit of money, but not as much as it should be making, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last question is do you have to sometimes lace some shoes up and like show them like, hey, like I still got this if I need to. You can still catch this work.
You know, me and you know, our other assistant coach, you know, Walt Offit, you know, we still practice every day. You know, like we get out there. Now we're not going for an hour, 2 hours and stuff like that, but we jump on the scout team, we go through plays and sets like that, you know, and sometimes it gets super competitive. Sometimes we just go through not go through the motion stuff, but I mean we go through, you know, and you know, just go through the sets and everything like that. But there's certain days, man, where you know, we get it going and stuff like that.
You gotta get loose on them real quick,
you know, a little bit. You know what I mean? I try and tell them, like, hey, man, you know, hey, I did used to get paid to do this. Now, like this ain't an accident now, you know. but in all fairness, though, they're a lot younger. They're a lot more in shape. They're a lot faster. The game isn't, like I told you, the game's in the best place it's ever been. They're a lot more athletic and stuff like that, you know. So I got to use my brain a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's certain places I think I can get to, and your body's like, yo, you slow now, dog. Like, you know?
That's wild, man. Do you ever had any players that were really cocky like that and like wanted to challenge you, play you one-on-one?
All the time, man. I mean, we do it all summer long. You know what I mean? Like our guys are here a lot. You know what I mean? So like, we'll work out and stuff like that for, you know, 30, 45 minutes. And then we might play one-on-one for 45 minutes straight, you know what I mean? And play like the best out of 7 or play, you know, best out of 3 and stuff like that. You know, we'll have shooting contests and stuff like that, you know, like, because honestly, man, I don't think it's not a necessity, you know what I mean? But I think if you can do the things that you're asking your players to do, you know, or show them on the court, I think they listen to you a little bit more, because they're like, you know what, man, maybe this stuff does work. You know what I mean? Or, oh, this is what you meant when you were telling me to do this or whatever. Or your old butt can get me with this move you just showed me. Maybe I should start using it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I try to stay in some sort of shape. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't work out today, you know, but, you know, like I try to work out, you know, as much as I can, so that I'm in some sort of, you know, shape and whatnot, so I can get out there and I can, you know, show these guys what to do. And at the same time, I do it because my son's about to be at that age and stuff like that. I want to be able to show him some things. You know what I mean? Like I'm still somewhat young. I'm 36 years old, so I'm still pretty young, you know, but I want to be able to show him some things and stuff like that. And I like to talk stuff when I beat guys in one-on-one too.
Come on now.
There you go. Love it.
Perfect. Well, I mean, that's really pretty much what we had, Justin. I mean, I just really wanted to get
coming on, my man.
Pick your brain, man. I appreciate you. Give you your flowers. You may not say you, but you one of Lansing's greatest, bro. Don't let them fool you.
Right.
Don't let them fool you, man. You a legend in the streets, man.
I appreciate it, man. You know, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, I enjoyed it and everything,
Thank
man.
you.
And, I'm trying to do what, you know, what folks from Lansing did for me, you know, what my dad did for me and stuff like that. Just trying to help, you know, young kids, man, reach their dreams and reach their goals, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, man, I've had a very blessed life. You know, I mean, I've done a lot of things that a lot of people have not done, and I've done almost everything in my life that I've wanted to do, and it's because of, you know, coaches and my dad and stuff like that have instilled, you know, things into me. So I want to try and help, you know, that next generation do the same thing. That's why I coach, man, you know, to try and help these young kids and these young men, you know, be the best basketball players, man, and be the best young men, you know, that they can be, so they can grow up and be in the position that I'm in and do the same thing for the next generation, you know?
Man. And I know that's going to be such a great feeling when you start to get those players that are like, man, Coach Ingram, man, I remember when you told me this. And you was right. Like, I know that's gonna be like a
I
hell
hope
of a
so,
feeling,
man.
bro.
I hope so, man. I hope that not, man, coach, you told me this and man, it messed me up, dog. Like, I hope it ain't thing like that.
Man.
We appreciate you coming on, man. Seriously, I really appreciate your perspective. And yeah, like I said, like your outlook on your life and like the timing, especially how you're talking about how much you care about your athletes and stuff like that. It's you're living the, a really good, wholesome way. I respect you.
Appreciate that, man. I really do, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Justin. Well, we appreciate it, bro.
All right, man.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
y'all having
much.
me, man. Yep.
All
Have
right.
a great night. All right.
All right.
I
Shout out to Jay Ing, my guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. Let me turn a light on. I'm losing daylight over here. Oh, whew, man. So,
busy
how was
Saturday,
Jamaica?
bro.
How was Jamaica, bro?
Jamaica was everything I needed and more.
Yeah.
Out here living life.
You were just on like celebrity tour. Your horseback riding, karaoke. You were doing everything, man.
Living. Stop playing with me. I was out here living.
Yeah, man. So you gotta tell me, how was the horseback riding? Was it good?
Horseback riding was fun. So they had like two different parts of it. So the first practice was just like you just go regular on like a trail or whatever. Then we got on some water horses.
Ooh.
Them water horses took the fuck off on my ass, bro. I'm like this, like, oh shit. My damn shoe almost came off, but it was fun as hell. Went ATVing, went on like a bamboo raft, did a rum tasting, went into like this lagoon, like at night. They had like these really like microscopic organisms that go in this water. And it's a mix of like this salt water, fresh water, and then something within the ground. But like as you're going at night, the water lights up from any movement.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Crazy, bro. I have to send you the video. It's crazy. And it's only like 3 places in the world. I think they said that they have it at. But it was pretty dope though. But I had a good time, had some fun, and I needed it.
Nice recharge to come back to reality too. Just like
right.
Whew.
Exactly. And then to come back to this fucking cold weather.
Yeah. I can't relate to that, but we're at like 90 here. That's the thing. I'm coming home for Christmas break and I'm so excited to come home, man. But like I feel like after 3 days, I'm gonna be like, this is bullshit. Like, give me back.
The birds.
Yeah, man. Fucking, that's weird. My first time coming back to Michigan is just gonna be like right in the heart of it and be like,
yeah,
nah, man. There's so much I feel like we've like not talked about because it's been a couple weeks. So like, we definitely talk about these fights, but then we're gonna have to backdate some stuff at some point because like, there's.
I wonder, can you split the video and do like 2 different videos?
Yeah, definitely.
There's been a bunch of shit that's been happening.
Yeah, for sure, my man. For sure. It's I don't even know where to start. Let's go with last night since that's like fresh in our minds.
Last night is just like just shout out. Last night was just great, bro. From the fucking Canelo Plant fight to Usman and Covington fight, like.
Oh, you saw that one too?
I didn't see the fight. I was following it on IG or on Twitter. But dog, just that Saturday was just a dope ad. Like yesterday was just dope as hell. Like I saw the Canelo fight. It was a good fight, bro. Like it really was. It was a good fight. Like I think Plant just started to go away from what was working at the beginning of the match. It was his jab and his movement, and he started letting Canelo walk him down. Yeah. So now at that point, the 4-inch reach that you had, you completely lost it. Mm-hmm. And then you could tell Canelo just had more power to his punches than Plant had.
Yeah.
And so it started to wear on him. You should have saw his, like the left side of his body. He was just ribs, those back shots. It was red, bro. He was tearing him down. And then eventually he caught him with that left hook, and
Canelo's a bad motherfucker, dude.
Bad dude. Nice. And you know what's crazy is that was the first time Plant had been knocked down in his career, and you could tell. So you remember how we were talking about with that Fury and Wilder fight, where like Fury, when he gets knocked down, he takes his time. Mm-hmm. Like he's not in a rush to get back up or anything. He sits down. Like takes a breath or whatever, kind of gathers himself. He'll probably get to about like a kind of like not about 7 before he starts to get up, right? Plant didn't do that. Like, he got knocked down and he immediately got right back up, ran over into the corner and everything. And it's like
to the other side.
And and it was like, and I knew at that point, I was like, he's not about to survive out of this. Like, I knew immediately. I was like, he's rocked, and he was way too quick to kind of try to get himself back up and show that he was okay, rather than like taking your time, get yourself back centered, and then get up. And I knew from that, like, so I think as his development as like a boxer goes, he has to learn how to, like, if you get knocked down, like, it's okay, bro. Just take your time, recenter yourself, you know what I mean? Get to that count of 7 and then start to make your way up, whatever. Sure. So I think that's just gonna be in his maturation. But I think he can be like, I think Plant can be nice. He just got to get a little bit more pop on his shots, because Canelo, I mean, you could just hear Canelo's shots, bro. Anytime he was hitting him, you could just hear him.
Right. But was it competitive though, like throughout?
I felt like it was. Like, there was like the scoring. I'm not sure about the scoring. I think there were some rounds where they were like, it was very kind of even. I feel like they were just giving it to Canelo because he was a champion, right? And that's what you always said this. Like, you gotta show that you're beating the champion.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was a pretty like tight fight, but just Canelo last couple of rounds, he was just wearing them down, and he went away from his jab that was working.
Yeah, man, those shots that he throws are with like conviction. Canelo doesn't throw for points like Canelo throws to chop you down, bro.
His power, and he's so efficient.
Like, it's so good at hitting the body, which people go,
so efficient.
The head pick, and he's like, now I'll destroy your body, and then you won't be able to move, you know?
Yeah, and because you got to drop your hands at that point, right? That's because Plant was also too trying to have this whole Floyd situation going on where he got the shell, right? But he's not Floyd, right? He don't know how to completely and he was just tearing. I mean, that whole entire left side, bro. You should have saw his back. It was red as shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's bruised. Like, he was putting in work, but like you say, just putting in work on the body, dropping his hands, and he just caught him. But
relentless aggression.
And he was just and Plant was letting Canelo walk him down. Right, rather than keeping the fight in the center of the ring where he was doing work, Canelo would walk him down, get close, and then bang, uppercut. Like, it was.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but Caleb Plant is from the Mayweather gym. Like, so he's like been in that gym for a very long time. I don't think he trains there anymore. He's somewhere else in Vegas, but like. So if you watch him, especially his other fights, I didn't watch this fight, but he looks like Floyd, the way he tries to move and like the way he tries to defend and stuff like that. That's like the defense that he's learned. But yeah, he'll take punishment if like you don't do it correctly, you know. He's definitely not Floyd. He's a good fighter. I like him.
Solid. I think he can be like. I honestly think that like he can be nice, and he could probably like maybe kind of run that weight class. He just got to work a little bit more, and like he's got to work on his like if he gets knocked down, he just got to take his time. But I think that's just gonna come with some maturation a little bit.
Yeah,
but he's also like 29, so I don't know, how long he's gonna be fighting for. But yeah.
What did you think of Usman Covington?
Covington got saved in that second round, didn't he? Or was it the third round?
Yeah, dude, that was a completely different fight than the first fight. The first, like, I felt like in the first fight going into the 5th round, it was like even, like those two are going at it, you know? And this fight, it seemed like Covington was bothered by Usman's power, like early. And like from that point on, Usman was just walking him down. And like Covington would score a little bit, but it didn't look like any of it was really hurting Usman until like that 4th round, you know, like Usman.
Yeah, he did catch on that. What's the name?
I thought he dominated. I thought Covington won that round, but the rest of the fight, Usman just, you know, did.
And he legitimately got saved by that bill.
Yeah.
Like because those two knockdown, like I thought he was done. After that, when I saw the highlight, I was like, how the hell did he survive that? But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like that shit at the end, bro. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Really?
I didn't like it, bro. I didn't like because there's certain like the shit that like Covington was saying and running his mouth about. I'm like Habib, where like I'm not about to fucking forgive you.
I got you. Yeah.
Right. And there's just shit that you can't go on. And like, so I do not like Covington. And I think it's just because of some of the shit that he was just saying, where I'm not about to forgive you, whether it's about making money or not. But there's a line that you cross, bro. And I don't, yeah.
No, I totally understand that. Like, and if you look at, you can go on YouTube and just watch anyone talk about Colby Covington. This isn't like coming from me. I don't really know the dude, but they all say like, yeah, Kobe's like a shit person. Like, he's not a good dude. Like, you know, like they're like all this thing that you guys think's an act. Like, that's actually how he is. Like, he's just nice. Like, and it's crazy, man. Like, so, I don't have a good perception of him either. I don't know. I think like, but I do think like he's a warrior. Like, he will not.
I mean,
so I think for Usman, it's almost just like at the end of it, it's like it's just like warriors, like, you know, tugging it out, like shit, man. Like, you got to give respect to each other. But I totally agree with you. I don't think today Usman's like, yeah, I think Kobe's a good dude. Like, you know, fuck that guy.
But yesterday was just a hell of a, like, it was just tough. Like, that's why I like hit you up. Like, hey, which one you watching? Because I feel like I need to watch the other. Because like it's just. Yeah. It was just, I mean, it's like that. It was they were both on the same night, but it was just like, oh, like it's just so much to do. It was just a great night of just fighting. You know what I mean? Like, even that
Canelo was a really good fight too.
Dog ass fight, bro. Like, dog ass.
I like that one the best that night. Like, that fight was incredible.
I mean, they were going at it.
You know, my friend I was watching with, we were talking, and it's like, you watch Justin do this shit. Like, he's an elite wrestler, right? But like, he rarely ever goes for submissions. He just wants to strike. And he's got such a good chin. Like, Chandler was going after him, but like, he had to just like beat the shit out of him. Like, he is an elite fighter. And then Khabib just manhandled Justin Gaethje. Like, that's just so crazy to think about, you know? Like, just like, as good as he is, when you watch him, it's like, dude, like, I've seen you get like ragdolled. Like, that's just how much better Khabib is than everyone else, you know?
It's a dog.
Yeah.
It's a dog. So, but you got, okay, so now that we done had these fight, like, did you hear this mess about Usman talking about he want to fight Canelo in boxing?
Oh man, why? Like, why would you guys do that? I just don't.
I mean, it'll be a hell of a money grab, though. You can't say that wouldn't. That would be a hell of a fucking money grab, bro, for both of them.
You know what? I take it back what I just said. Yeah, I totally get UFC fighters wanting to do these boxing matches because they're gonna get fucking paid, man. They don't get paid that way.
Motherfucker, bro. They about to get a bag bank. And then we got to talk about your guy. He just scheduled a fight with Tommy Fury.
Oh yeah, isn't that nuts, bro? I'm honestly props to Jake Paul, bro. Like, good for you. Like, that's.
I think this is what we've been waiting for. Like, now you're about to fight a fighter. Like, you're about to fight a boxer, right? And then I think this is what we're prepared for. Now, if he do this, then at this point, I don't think like we have to just give him the respect. But I don't think because like you see the shape that dude is in.
Yeah, that's my dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Tommy Fury's 7-0, and he's been like a promotional buildup thus far. Like, it's been mainly like, you know, journeymen and not very good fighters that he's beat. But he's 7-0, and I don't know. I would not be surprised if this gets like called off. I don't like or like Jake Paul hurt or something like that. That's like, I will have mad respect for him if he steps in the ring with this dude. Like, regardless of him not fighting good competition yet,
fighting boxers though, and
he's from a boxing family. He's been boxing his whole life, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, seriously, respect to Jake Paul. Like, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna watch that fight for sure.
I feel like you have to, bro. Like, it'd be insane not to. I'll because what is that? I think that's in December, like December 14th or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching that. That's gonna be fucking hilarious. Like, that's.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he wins though? Like, that would just be like, like you said, there's really nothing. Like, I'd be shocked, but I'd just be like, okay, man. Like, that's like props to you, bro.
I'd be shocked. Yeah. If he be Fury, I'd be shocked.
Me too. That's what I'm saying.
I'd be blown away. Like,
I would have to be like, okay. Like, but did you hear people are saying now like he's had like no knockout clauses in one of his fights or something like that? I don't know if you heard.
I didn't hear that.
This isn't verified, so don't like take that as like faith. Like, I'm not sure on it, but I heard like in a couple like articles or people talking about like on YouTube videos that like that was the case. So I'm gonna have to look into that more and see if
that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that will be real interesting.
Yeah,
right, so I feel like we gotta get to this NFL stuff, bro, because there's so much shit going on in the NFL.
Yeah,
Odell released. Aaron Rodgers over here lying.
Yeah, he's out. So much. Derrick Henry's out for the season. Like, I wanted to talk last time about like like how much of a tear Derrick Henry's on. And between the last time we've talked and now, like
now he's out. He's gone for the season. Like, so what does that lead Tennessee, bro?
What's going on, bro?
And your boy AP got picked up.
He did, bro.
He can play off them debtors. Come on now.
He's like, you could just make this check right out to mortgage. Oh man, he's playing tonight. I'm gonna have to watch that. That'll be interesting.
So yeah, I mean, let's talk about Odell.
Okay.
Like, one, I think it needed to happen.
I agree. What do you think's up? Do you think it's just the system there? Because obviously they're a good team and they're winning. But do you think it's like the system that kind of like hasn't allowed him to thrive like individually statistically? Or do you think he's not the same player that he was like his first 3 years in the league?
I don't think he has the chemistry with Baker Mayfield. That's what I think it is. Because I'm not going to lie. I saw that video that Odell's dad posted. And it was like some very blatant things where he's wide open and he's not throwing him the ball.
Oh, I have to watch that. Okay.
And it's like, how are you not throwing this guy the ball?
Yeah.
Or if he's throwing him the ball, it's completely overthrown.
That's
right.
Really-
like now, some of those things in those situations, it's like he threw the ball to another guy that was open. Okay, that's fair, right? But still, you could have probably thrown the ball to Odell.
I got you.
Who's a better option, right? Or there are some situations where he was under duress and he probably just didn't see that he was open. And I think that one, those are fair.
Yeah.
But there are some situations where he just completely like didn't even look Odell way.
That's very interesting. I'm going to look into that, bro.
So
I don't see him wanting because now he's a free agent, right? Because he got released.
He's going to be waived on Monday and then he'll be free. And they say he wants to play for a contender. But now it's just like, okay, so, I know there's been a lot of speculation about him maybe going to Baltimore to go play with Lamar. But I've been hearing a lot of rumors about him maybe going to Vegas with the Raiders. They just lost Ruggs. So.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. We got to talk about that too. Holy shit, man. There's so much going on. I don't know. I think he is one of the most athletically gifted receivers I've seen in a really long time. Like, I really like Odell, but like, it's been weird the last couple of years with injury and like, his lack of production. Like, maybe this is what he needs. We've seen people like Randy Moss, like play like for teams that just like, it did not work out for. And then he went to like the Patriots and like completely revived. He looked like, the Vikings.
Yeah. He just has to get with a quarterback that's going to, get him to what's name. So the Rams just released Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if Odell went to the Rams, bro?
I was going to say that a second ago when you were talking, bro, but then I was thinking, like, do they want to mess that up? Like, Cooper Kupp is the receiver in the league right now. Robert Woods is playing great. I don't know if that would mess it up, so maybe that's
I don't think that it would. I honestly don't think that it would. But now he's going to a quarterback that he knows is probably going to give him the ball. Rush is still going to get his touches, and so is Robert Woods.
That would be interesting. Like, would you put OBJ or Robert Woods in like this or Kupp? All of those dudes are like good outside and slot receivers. That'd be
That's why I think it'd be just difficult because you don't know where these guys are going to line up.
Yeah, man. Wow. That's very interesting. And they just got Von Miller.
Like, bro, they just see Von Miller. Like, I woke up 4-4 and now I'm 7-1.
Yeah. I wonder how, like, he's another one, though. He's been injured the last couple of years. His veteran experience alone will be a plus, but I don't know what he was, so.
Yeah.
To see.
But I'm happy for Odell because I think he just need to get out of that situation. Baker seems to play a lot better when he's not having to deal with, like, just the drama of having Odell on the team. And it's not that I don't think Odell is bringing bad energy or anything, but he garners a lot of attention because he's such a talented, receiver and everything. And they're like, why is he not producing? And then if he's not producing, it's 9 times out of 10 is because he's not getting the ball.
Yeah.
Right. And it just don't make sense when he only getting maybe 3 targets a game. Like, why is Odell Beckham Jr. only getting 3 targets a game?
Yeah, that is nuts, bro. That is absolutely nuts.
So I think it's a good thing for both teams.
Man. They just run the ball so much. Like, it's a very interesting system, a very old school system they have over there, like the Browns offense,
Yeah, but there's times where, like, that's why you have the whole play action and everything, and you utilize that, right? But they're not
No, they just run the ball a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then your boy Aaron, like, okay, so I think about this in the lens, like the same lens that I think about the whole Kyrie Irving situation, right? Because Kyrie was just open and honest about what he had going on and what he was doing. And then you had Aaron Rodgers that like completely, I don't know if he lied, but he definitely didn't tell the whole truth about his situation.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, Kyrie's getting this whole criticism, people telling him he needs to retire and everything for him living in his truth. But then Aaron Rodgers is over here telling like this little white lie about his status and everything that he's been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I wonder if he's going to get the same ridicule.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyrie was getting.
That's a really good question. Because it's really not been something that I've like really like. I know what happened. Like he said, like a quote, like he was immunized or whatever, and like now he's tested positive, whatever. And there's like, but I haven't really read really much into it. I agree though. I feel like if they're gonna beat Kyrie up as much as everyone's beat Kyrie up for it, and like you said, he's been open and honest with it from the jump. Like we can't then be like those same sports fans then be like not have anything to say about Aaron Rodgers who lied. Right. His team at risk, honestly, because I'm surprised that he could lie about it. I feel like it would have to be verified through the team that someone's vaccinated or not. Like I didn't know it was on the honor system. That's weird.
Well, it's not. So I think maybe the team knew, but they were allowing him to maybe kind of like bend the rules a little bit, understanding that like, bro, if we don't do this, like. He ain't gonna play this year, and then we're gonna be terrible because now we got to deal with Jordan Love being our quarterback. So like maybe we just let him get away with this, let him get away with like that's literally when I thought about that, I'm like that's probably what they were thinking.
You're probably right, man, because he was already on, or like they were already on like thin ice with him and trying to figure out what was going on. What do you think the score of that game is right now? You think the Chiefs are beating them?
The Chiefs should be up. Last I saw it was like 13-7.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not pulling up very fast. Yeah. Oh man.
Let's see. Chiefs won. Yeah, Chiefs won 13-7. And your boys just lost.
If you're talking about New Orleans, like we don't have to talk about it, and then like it won't be real.
Wait, why did somebody post a meme and it said off week 35 Lions 3? Like we even lose in a bye week, bro. Like
what's your opinion, bro? My stepdad is like beating the drum already for Campbell to be fired, and like I've already think I've voiced my opinions on how I feel about like coaches getting fired immediately. Like
I don't think you can. It's not his fault, right? Like they lost 2 games where they should have won, but they just lost the last second field goals, and one of them bounced off the off the post, right? It's just unlucky things, like right.
Well, like the team is not a good team, so I'm not
gonna. They're not, and it's not his fault that they're not a good team.
Yeah,
he has to deal with. He has to go out there with the players that he has, and they don't have talent. The talent that they have, DeAndre Swift, he's kind of in and out because he's kind of injured, and then you have Hawkinson. Well, teams can kind of focus in on him because you don't got shit else out there.
Yeah,
right. Like you lost probably like your best receiver in Cephas.
Yeah,
now he's out. You lost Okuda to an Achilles injury. So like injuries all over the place, and then you just really don't have any talent. And you lost one of the best centers in the league in Ragnow. So like you said, they're just not a good team. And then people are over here talking about can we go get Odell for what?
Yeah, who's getting him?
Why are we gonna go get Odell? That's a waste of his career. Do not come. The Odell know better than to come to Detroit. He saw what happened to Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. He ain't stupid.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Detroit free agents from now on. I think we're and not that Barry and Calvin weren't free agents, but I just mean like I don't think we're going to be getting any like free agent big time players that are like, you know what, it'd be a good idea to go play for Detroit. Like I think we're going to have to do all our building through the draft.
It's going to have to, bro. You may get like some mid-level type of talent or whatever that can kind of help build around some pieces, but like this is probably one of the first years where I'm like, we need a receiver.
Yeah.
We need a receiver, bro.
Yeah, I it's just bad, bro. And it's you felt like Dan Campbell coming. I feel like hopefully it's going to install a good culture. But like looking at the team and the talent, I still don't know. Like a lot of moves would have to be made this offseason for me to even feel like we're going to be a couple years away from contention. Like it feels to me like there's still like we're just lost. Like it's like, hopefully the culture's good, but as far as personnel, we're in shambles right now. Like it's not good.
It's just not there. It's not there, but it's because we completely like depleted the team of any talent that it had. All the talent left, right?
Yeah. Holiday,
so
everyone, man.
This all going Marvin Jones Jr. Like he went to the damn Jaguars, and he could have stayed where he was at if he was gonna go there. But anyway, he probably wanted to be in some warm weather. But like they're just so. I mean, I didn't have high expectations as it is anyway. I figured they may win like 4 games, so I mean, it doesn't look like they're gonna get there. But I think after those couple of losses, especially that one to the Vikings, I think it kind of just like it took all that energy out of them, bro. It like just happened. So hopefully they come out of this bye week with some fresh energy and they go into the next game with a little bit better energy and they can
I guess, man.
Something off. But they play the Steelers next, so who knows?
Yeah, I got nothing to say about them this year, man. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not even upset. It's the Lions. I just,
It's the Lions, bro. It's the Lions. That's all you can say.
I don't feel like Pistons aren't playing that good either, huh?
Again, it's literally the same situation. It's a little bit brighter with the Pistons because they have some good young pieces, right? Mm-hmm. You got Cunningham, that's there. Josh Jackson, Jeremy Grant is pretty, like, he's a solid player. It's not okay that he's the best player that they have right now, but you can see that there's some method there, right? Like they're starting to build. The Lions don't even look like they are building at the moment. Yeah. Like their best part of their is the O-line, right? Like, so that's good, right? But still, it's still a lot of work. There's so many pieces that's involved with football. Where basketball, I think you can have a piece and then start to build around. I think they found that piece with Cunningham. Now they just got to start to build it out a little bit better.
I got you. Yeah, I'm going to try to go to a game I think the 29th, they're playing the Knicks, and I'll be home that week, so I'm going to try to go to that game.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It's weird. Like Justin said, I've been watching basketball pretty sparingly this season, but it's odd. Like, I didn't expect the Lakers to be whatever they are, 5-5, and they're losing games. And like Russ looks worse than I even remembered watching him last season, So it's just, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. Do you think it's going to take a while to figure that out, or do you think like one of them's going to have to go at some point?
I don't think they're going to go, but I think it's going to take some time for them to figure it out, just because like Russ needs the ball in his hand to be effective. He is not a spot up guy. It's not him. So either they have to adjust their offense to where it's a little bit more free flowing, to where it's like the Warriors, where they got a lot of like misdirection, and screening and cutting. That's going to happen compared to just like that typical high pick and roll type of stuff. Like that, I think they have to make some adjustments to that offense. But once LeBron comes back, like I don't know what you're going to do. Right? Because Bron needs the ball in his hand, but in order for Russell Westbrook to be effective, he has to have the ball in his hand.
It's a weird pairing, bro. It's just weird.
I felt like I said this, like I didn't think it would work, and they just don't have the. I would say this: Melo looks amazing though. Like Melo looks good. He looks really solid. AD's been looking pretty solid.
He does too.
But it's just like those other pieces, like they don't, like Malik Monk and who was it? Rondo and Bazemore and they do not look good.
How's Dwight looking?
He looks all right. Like he's okay, but without LeBron, they just look.
But I know the Warriors are like 7-1 right now, or 7-2.
Bro, they like Jordan Poole looked like he's trying to make a play for like most improved between him and DJ and Bridges. Like
Miles Bridges is killing it, bro.
Bro.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts? like it took him a while. Then this is like fourth season or third. You know, it's like
I think it was starting to click, but I think it's because they're playing at such a fast pace. He can start to use that athleticism that he has, and him and that pairing with him and Melo, like it just clicks between the two of them, bro.
Yeah, it's a good like young duo. They've got
it is.
There,
it is.
That, you know, it's
yeah.
It's box office. Like people like seeing LaMelo, and people like seeing how athletic Miles Bridges is. You know, like they're not just good players stat wise. Like they're gonna sell tickets for like a small market organization.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
So it's gonna be nice, but yeah, I'm not like the Lakers. They're gonna struggle until Bron comes back and start. You know, they can start to figure some of these things out. But the Warriors, like, and it's not even like the Warriors. It like they're getting back to like they're top 5 defensively, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like they're getting back to like digging in deep, and they don't have Clay, they don't have Wiseman. Like these guys aren't even on the court right now, and they're balling.
Does Clay come back around like Christmas?
I think that's what they were trying to shoot for. So, or before the All-Star break.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting. I heard Ja's been balling, and then Luka just hit a buzzer beater the other night. I saw
that. Yeah.
I don't know how well the Mavs are doing, but yeah, someone told me that like Ja's been like killing it. He's been on like a mission this season,
bro. Like Ja, I would say, but you would have to put Ja up there with like KD, probably like Jimmy Butler, Steph, as far as like in the MVP like race right now. Like they would have to be up there, bro. Like they're balling.
Yeah, that's so nuts, man. That like too, like how good the Bulls and the Heat are playing. You know, like they're really like resurging right now. I think it's deep, bro. Like they've really like fortified both of those defensive teams defensively. You know, like the Heat, really good. Kyle Lowry, I like his role there too. Like he's had to take a little bit of a step. He's still like the veteran leader, point guard, like run plays, but like he hasn't had to shoulder as much of the scoring load. And like you know,
you don't need to, because Tyler Hero is, bro, and he stated this not too long ago in an interview where he was, you know, they were talking about him in that conversation with like Luka and Trae Young, you know, those guys that were in his draft class, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I think they were in his draft class, or he may have been a year afterwards. But he was like, I feel like I'm in a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And the way that he's playing right now, bro, he putting up like 20 a game, 21, 22 a game.
Yeah.
Like, dude is balling, and he's doing that off the bench.
Right? He's balling, man. And then Jimmy Buckets is just a beast, bro. I'm a huge Jimmy Buckets fan. Bam's playing great too, man. That whole team. They're just
like they're nice. They're nice. And I mean, you look at it like, but Philly has still got the best record in the East right now, even with all the Ben Simmons situation.
I just saw that, dude. Is just Embiid balling or what's going on?
Embiid, and then like Steph Curry is just kind of like taking a step up and just been hooping, bro.
How's Tobias playing?
He's been out last couple of games, but like he's been solid. But I think it's like Korkmaz has kind of stepped in for him and played a little bit better. But I think the surprise really has been with Cleveland and Washington.
Yeah,
both of them, you know, have winning records. Washington 6-3, Cleveland's 6-4, and I think like that lineup that Cleveland has is insane, bro. With Markkanen, Allen, and Mobley, like they all like 6'10" or taller, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they all like mobile, agile, like that's a hell of a defensive lineup, bro.
It really is. Yeah, they've got a lot of interesting personnel this year. Like I was watching one of their games. Like I think Rubio's on their team now and stuff. Like that. I was like, this is wild, bro. Some of these players, you see them jump around so much.
Yeah,
they look good. They do look good. And then on the West, who's other than the Warriors? Isn't there another team that's like 7-1 or like 7-2?
I mean, the Jazz 7-2, which I think people kind of expected. I mean, the Mavs are 6-3 right now, right? And I don't think Porzingis has been really playing last couple of games.
Well, Porzingis, man, my ship's kind of sailed on Big Bro.
I mean, he played. Yeah, I mean, he put up 21 and 7.
He's a monster, dude. I just don't have any, like, I wouldn't want him on my team. I know it sounds bad, but it's just like, I don't think like he'd be available. I don't feel like he's just always hurt, you know, like he's frustrating. Like if I was a Mavs fan, I'd be really frustrated with like,
yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
This is, and you know what he could be. And like, just his lack of availability and like his just cold streaks he goes, I don't know. It's crazy.
So do you think it's a situation where like, because like the situations that he's been in, he hasn't been happy in either situation.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Knicks situation when he was there, it was a bad situation.
Yeah. But now
it was terrible.
But like I don't look at like how he's where he is now. I'm like, why? What's going on?
I mean, he don't get along with Luka.
That's crazy, bro. That's so, and I'm not saying it's his fault or Luke, like it's both of them, but like that's nuts that like you can let that affect because like they're so young, so talented. Like you guys could do so much together.
But I don't think he gets along with Luka, bro.
Yeah,
and I think sometimes it's just personalities just don't work.
Yeah, there can only be one European star on this team.
Like I mean, literally, Justin said it though. Like, right, they both probably step on the court and feel like I'm the best fucking player on this team.
Yeah.
And he feels like he don't like that Luka. And it may not be a situation where he may not the situation where he may not like the attention Luka's garnering, but maybe it's just like some of that shared responsibility of leading the team.
I get that, man, but like I'm gonna be honest, like it's just me, my opinion. Porzingis is never gonna be the best player in a championship team. Like that's not how the league works. That's not, at least not now. It's like you need a co-star guard or really good, do it all around three, something like that to be like your best player right now. It's rarely now.
But is it like? I mean, he's maybe not exactly in the same breath, but like he's not the same skill set. But he's almost KD.
Yeah.
But just not at that same skill set. But KD is the best. He could be the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Porzingis is just not that guy.
Yeah,
he's not at that level.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think he could be that. He definitely need at least a co-star that's like right there with him. Like, and in that case, he's a center, so whatever co-star he has is definitely going to probably have the ball in his hands more enough to facilitate. So maybe he doesn't feel like he's getting as much opportunity from Luka, but like he's got to understand, like if he wants to win, then he's going to have to play with like some other star that's going to probably have the ball a little bit more, because
you
don't really dictate, except for Jokic. Like a lot of them aren't, the prime distributors. So I don't know. What do you think he wants? Do you think he wants to go be like the star on some like?
I don't think it's a situation where he wants to be the star, but I think he just, because of how much attention Luka garners, and then also how much Luka dominates the ball. Yeah. I think those two things combined, it just probably rubs him the wrong way, because Luka really does dominate that ball a lot. And it's almost as like, it makes it kind of like the Porzingis is codependent upon whether or not Luka gives him the ball, when Porzingis is like, I can handle the ball my fucking self. I can go and get my own shot. But it's almost like they don't give him the ball to kind of display that, because Porzingis really can get his own shot.
Definitely.
Right? But I don't think he's showcased in a way that to allow for him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what his frustration is.
That's got to be really hard, bro. That's interesting for me to think, like, kind of going back to even like Shaq and Kobe. I guess when Kobe was young, they kind of forced him to give the ball to Shaq more, but like maybe that's why they struggled like later on too, is like Kobe was kind of evolving and like wanted the ball more, and it was just not, that's interesting to think about. Like when you're a center, it's very dependent on like who's giving you the ball and stuff like that, so
yeah,
interesting situation.
So we talk about one last thing. I feel like we talk about like this whole Henry Ruggs situation, bro.
It's really sad, man. Yeah.
It is. And but I really appreciate something that Derek Carr said. And he was like, even in a touchy time like this, he was like, I really, my prayers goes out to like those individuals that lost their family member. He was like, but I also, I like Henry Ruggs is my teammate. And he was like, and I feel like I know him pretty well. And he was like, as hard as people are being on him, and he understanding that he made a bad decision, you have to understand, like, he's probably harder on him. So he's being harder on himself right now than anybody else can be. Because it's not like he went out and like intentionally went to go crash his car.
Exactly.
Or wanted to kill somebody. Did he make a bad decision? Yeah, he made a bad decision. Absolutely. Yeah. And it was a fatal decision. But that wasn't his intent.
No.
And he was like, and honestly, if I could right now, I would just go and I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Like, how hard the media is probably just ripping him right now. And he's probably hearing things from these people, from his, the people that passed away, their families and everything. And he probably feels really bad. He's like, if I can just go and just talk to him and just give him a hug. I mean, he's a young kid. His career is over.
Yeah.
You know, his career is literally it's over, and it's like now what, right? And you know that he's not a bad guy, but he just has to pay that price.
Exactly.
It sucks. So
I totally agree. There's no way he intentionally meant to do that. It's just, and he's a young kid, so it does stink. But it's like you said, it's like just the fact of the matter that he's going to have to pay that price, you know. But like with that being said, the same way, might seem a little extreme, but the same way like a serial killer's family would still love that like that's like, of course, I totally understand. That's Derek Carr's brother, you know, like they've been like, no way, like should anyone criticize him for that, for being like, oh, he's standing up for, like, no, you still love your loved ones even if they do something horrible, you know.
But it's just like it was because he was talking about his faith and everything, but it's just understanding the person that Henry Ruggs is.
Yeah.
Like he's only 22.
Yeah.
Right? He made a fucked up decision. It wasn't a good decision for him. And why he was going that fast, no one knows.
That's the thing that gets me, man. It's like even just the drunk driving, like it's like what was going through your 100 miles an hour? Like and
that was on impact. That wasn't even like he hit his brake. So that was just on impact. That wasn't really how fast he was going. They said he was probably going about 160. So that was just that impact, right? But you just kind of feel for him, right? Because you gotta like understand it that like, Ethan, do you know that like most human beings, their brain, their frontal lobe cortex, like it's not even fully developed until about like 25, 26.
Oh, exactly.
Right. So you still and we all did this when we were younger, where we made some reckless ass decisions when we were younger.
Yeah.
Right. We did it. I feel like everyone does it. It's just in this case, he just made a decision that was fatal.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing coming, and there's no coming back from that. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that he shouldn't, because I believe, you know, you got to pay for the things that you do. But hopefully it's not a situation where this is the end for him. That's what I'm just hoping for. That it's just not the end. But I do believe he still has to pay for, you know, the thing that he did. So,
yeah, it's just tough all the way around, man. It wasn't intentional, definitely not. But it's like, again, like you said, it's like what he did led to someone being killed, and that's where it's just like that's the highest responsibility right there, man. Like that's something that like you can't really avoid. So it's tough, man. That's a young kid that just like had it all and just threw it away, man. It's not good. Not good. That's just sad. Every time I think about it, that is just like a tragic situation all the way around. Like, and that poor family, man, they like had nothing to. That's the one thing that bothers me too about people that drink and drive. It's like the people that you're impacting is more than just yourself. Like you just killed someone that has like a family that loves them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the woman was in her 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
her dog died with her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they said that PETA was coming.
I'm sure they were, bro.
PETA's coming. PETA don't play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad all the way around, right? Because you just had two young people, one whose life is, you know, his career is over with. And I mean, good thing that he still has his life. And even his girlfriend, she made it out of there. She had just a broken arm. So, you know, luckily she made it out safely. But, you know, someone lost her life. Two people were injured, and one's life is just, his trajectory of his life is completely altered now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that in a sense is just really sad. But hopefully he learned something from it. And I'm sure he's probably, like Derek Carr said, he's probably beating himself up about it more than probably anybody else can. But I think Derek Carr is right in the sense that like he just knowing that he's still loved, that like you made a mistake, learn from it, but know that like that family is going to be upset at you, but like still giving him some love in the sense that like we know you made a mistake, learn from it.
Yeah. That's how it'd be if it was one of my family members, man. You know, it's tragic, but it's just it is what it is. It happened. Yeah.
Forgiveness is a hell of a thing, bro.
Yeah, it's hard, bro. Very hard, but it is. Are you gonna go watch this game?
Yeah, I'm about to do some meal prepping and watch this game, do some old people shit.
Hey, I love it. Grown up stuff. Big boy stuff.
Bro, I'm over it. I'm over adulting.
All right, my man. Well, I'll see you next week.
All right, sir. I'll holler at you.
Yep. Talk to you.